Hey everybody, welcome to the Rhizocast. Today we're doing the Maxx, a comic book 6 months older than Alex.
Yes. And just so we get this straight from the get-go, this is not a spin-off or in any way related to Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
It's also not related in any way to Maximum Carnage or the Punisher Max line.
because I was like, this is pretty violent representation of the restaurant that the kids go to hang out at in Saved by the Bell.
Well, it did get a little seedier a few years later.
Yeah. Yeah, by Sam Kieth, the legend.
Yeah. I mean, the art on this is like there's no like what I love about Sam Kieth in general and the Maxx in particular is you could if you just show somebody the art and they're either like there's no way I would ever be interested in this or this looks amazing. There's no middle ground with Sam Kieth. I love his work. I don't know where you are on it.
It's pretty badass.
But like
I mean, look at the cover though. It kind of tells you everything that you're gonna be getting.
yeah, and it's like he can draw straight. I mean, he did the first 6 issues of Sandman or whatever, and it's the anatomy is correct or whatever, but then like when he's going balls out like this, that's
who's to
he
tell
shines.
what the anatomy is on the Maxx?
That's
the benefit you get.
Okay, yeah. You want to hop right in, or you want to talk about the cover?
No, it's good.
The cover is fucking great.
Yeah, I don't know what much there is to say besides it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you're like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but this big purple dude, I'm in.
Yeah.
All right.
Shout out to Bill Messner Loaves.
So this dialogue, as Rob Liefeld calls him, scripter, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
So basically, Sam Kieth's writing the story, but he's admitting that like he's not as good with words as somebody else is, so he'll let them do the words, which there's a like strength to your character. I think if you're willing to say like I'm doing my own thing, but I'm gonna let somebody that's better than me do this other part of my own thing,
Has a great run on the Flash, Messner Loaves.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah,
his
Wonder Woman is great.
He created in the Flash Linda Park, Wally West's wife.
Oh, okay.
Hot take: that's the best couple in the DC universe.
Okay.
Wally and Linda.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is I think it's generally referred to as the second generation of
Image. Yeah.
So the first set of guys releases come out, they're a hit, and then then the next wave. I don't know what there even was besides the Maxx.
Would that be like the darker Image, like Death Blow?
Yeah, Death Blow, I guess, is part of that too, because Death Blow and the Maxx first appear in that same issue.
Yeah.
The darker Image thing.
Cybernary.
Yeah, Cybernary. But the Maxx is not. He's officially part of because that Image universe was shared in some way.
Yeah.
And he's officially part of it, but this is something totally different.
Yeah.
I mean, like. I say that, but really, like, when you think about how Death Blow is such a knockoff of
Sin
City, this reads like Sin City.
Yeah.
It's wet, dark and wet.
Yeah.
You're just like, yeah. And talking about Cheers.
Yeah, and it's like dirty, kind of, but real too. That's good.
Yeah.
Like the dirt grime of the city,
Yeah,
he's living in a cardboard box.
Yeah, it's so over the top, and it's just like, and then it's so designy with the Maxx and Chung.
It's really weird because it's like that '90s maximalist type vibe where everything is going on, but I think it's done in a really interesting and creative way in the Maxx.
Yeah.
Where like every page is loaded, but everything has a purpose.
Yeah, and I mean, it is interesting, like, he's drawing all these pipes and everything. He's drawing the rain. He's all in on this, and so am I.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people say the way he draws women is kind of ugly and grotesque, but I think they look great.
What guy's gonna say that woman looks ugly and grotesque?
I don't know. Like, there's some anatomy that is not quite correct probably in there, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And then this dude, like this dude, he's so exaggerated in size, but it's like, it's awesome. And then like,
but like also like more Sin City type stuff where it's like everything is so dirty, grimy. Where he says that like she gets off at this dirty street, the cab driver purposely drops her off there.
Yeah.
Like everyone is like in sync to just do evil,
villainous. Yeah.
Yeah, like everyone is irredeemably just evil, nasty, dirty.
And I like how he's playing with time here. Like, look how he like draws all these panels just to slow you down. Like,
yeah,
you know, like this is literally like from this to this is like only like 1 second maybe, but he like slowed you down to a whole
like,
page.
It's like that one issue of Ice Cream Man.
Oh, the
Yeah.
decompression.
Yeah.
Maybe this
Yeah.
is the inspiration. Who knows? But and here we go.
Look
Here's
at the
Maxx.
look at the reveal. Like this has got to be a top, at least for me, top 5, top 10, just like character reveal. Just this gigantic hulking monster coming out of that like small cardboard box.
Yeah,
You know
and
what
what's
I mean?
funny
Like,
is it's like, okay, so we got this villain dude who's clearly a hulking monster, but here's a bigger hulking monster.
Yeah.
And it is the Maxx, our hero.
yeah,
And so like part of this is he's having this monologue about like sometimes it's fate that saves people. Like this girl might live because of fate, and he goes, but sometimes the thing that saves them is me. And then the cops pull up and they're like, and sometimes it's us. And Maxx goes, damn, I was talking out loud again.
yeah, and
It's just so
and it's just like in a couple pages you really set up who the Maxx is. Like
Yeah.
you can tell he's like clearly not a mentally stable guy. He's homeless. He's talked about wanting alcohol already. Like he has a rough go of it.
Yeah.
You know, he's going through it right now, but he's still trying to help people out.
Yeah, and here we're introduced to our actual big villain of the series, Mr. Gone.
Yeah.
Who
With our first dead woman of the comic.
yeah, he's not very heroic, the villain here.
Yeah.
All right, here's your big ad chance.
Shout out to the ad. I don't really know anything about Mr. Incorporated, but I do know about Rick Veitch. He's one of my all-time favorites. Everything. Steve Bissett, he's awesome too, but Rick Veitch is like my guy, one of my guys.
Yeah.
But also like Dave Gibbons, John Toddlebon, Jim Valentino, Alan Moore. But Rick Veitch, everything he's done, I love that I've read. It's all great. Rat Pack, Max Immortal.
And then here's your favorite of the original Image lineup.
It's definitely one of them, Shadowhawk. If you're really fiending for a comic book that has broken backs and AIDS, this is your comic book.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of
Yeah.
comics that fit this.
That scratch that itch,
yeah.
but Shadowhawk does, and it's really good. I stand by Shadowhawk.
Here we are. Here is. And if you ever saw the cartoon, the thing that's amazing about it is they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna remake every panel. We aren't even going to. We aren't even gonna use any creativity. But it's like when it's great, why do you need to use creativity? Just lift it, and they do, and that's why the series is great. It's all, to me, it's the lifting of a comic that's like most in keeping with it, with the comic, like, you know, like.
Yeah, but I also thought like on this page, really interesting dialogue. It's kind of social a little bit, where they're talking about like they pick up this like obviously mentally unwell beast of a thing, and he's like, well, do we want to take him to this mental hospital? Nah, they're full. What about this one? Nah, they're full. Where are we gonna take him? Man, we'll figure it out. And they kind of treat like these unwell people just as like disposable beings. You know what I mean? Where we gonna take them? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Just it's our job to take care of them. And
I'm sure if you were on the job long enough and disheartened enough, that's how you would feel too.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
is it right? It's kind of like,
not right.
Well, it's like the question it kind of poses, because even the one cop is like, don't you think it's like kind of nice to be like him, where it's like other people have to figure out like your
How
problems,
to fix your mess, yeah.
but it's like nobody could be like, yeah, I want to be the Maxx right now. You know what like?
Yeah.
I just thought it was a really interesting dialogue.
Yeah.
Made me kind of think about some stuff.
Here we are. God, I wish I was a drunk.
That would explain all of this.
Yeah, but I mean, and
But it's also, I also think it's cool, like the juxtaposition of this big hulking monster in the fetal position.
yeah,
Like, sad. Like, I feel like if he took his mask off or something, he'd be crying. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And the weird coloring choices here, like they work, they really work, but like I don't know if this is probably early Photoshop or something with those spotlight things, or maybe that's just something weird that happened with how he colored it and how they shot it to film in that era. It's
Yeah.
hard to know exactly, but it's like I choose to believe that everything that he does is intentional.
also, how tall do you think the Maxx is?
Oh gosh, like
Because he's obviously like wide and bulky, but when you look at him in this car, like in the back of the cop car, he's
He
not
fits.
he's not even taking up the whole thing. So he's like he's a stout dude. You
but
know?
he's in fetal position, so
I know, but still, I feel like a cop car is not that big. Like the back. Oh,
well, maybe they would be if they were real superheroes that they had to put
Yeah,
them on a
yeah,
regular
yeah.
basis. Superhero, supervillain.
yeah, I
But
guess that's right. I guess.
I don't know. I feel like he's like. I think. Spoiler for a 40-year-old book or whatever, but
31.
31. Yeah. So, the Maxx is based on Harvey the puka, from the movie Harvey. So the giant rabbit, and so the puka is 6'7". So I'm assuming the Maxx is also 6'7".
Dang.
It comes up in the back matter of some of the later issues and stuff, some of the films that are influential to Sam Kieth, and it's like there's that movie he mentions a few times, Rebecca he mentions a few times. I can't remember what else. Okay, and so he's here. He's like getting a massive headache in the back of the police car, and all of a sudden he goes into another reality,
Yeah.
which is called the Outback, and is, like this is a splash page for lack of a
Yeah.
better term, but it's like nobody knows what, like it's just like he is not trying to tell you a story you've ever seen before.
Yeah.
You know, like
And
versus
it's so far removed from like the first gen image,
yeah.
because it's like
The first gen image is like
guns and action.
Well, and it's like I'm doing the same thing I was doing at Marvel.
Yeah.
But I'm making it even more extreme.
Yeah.
This is
Not that.
this is nothing like what he's doing with Wolverine.
yeah,
Nothing like what he's doing with Sandman. This is like
yeah.
he's going all in, all indie. I have this trading card set.
Also, I just want to say how banging and how booming was the comic business at this time, that a comic that had just released its first issue
Already.
is releasing a trading card set. Like, are there even enough people to have trading cards? Like Murdered Woman in an alleyway. Like, are you gonna have her trading card?
So
So it's kind of fascinating.
And it's like when you get deep into the mythology, there's things on the backs of the trading cards that reveal information that is not revealed anywhere in the 35 issues or whatever. It's like the only way you would get that information is if you got the trading cards.
Holy crap! That's like a Five Nights at Freddy's lore.
Yeah, and it's like also like, so the Maxx originally appears in, maybe it's Eclipse or something, it's a character called Maxx the Hare, that he's a rabbit mercenary, and Sam Kieth, inside of the Maxx, he is doing a thing where he's taking a lot of his indie creations from 10 years prior and pulling them in. Like the Izzes make appearances early in his career and stuff like that. So and here we are. So this is the Outback, which is not Australia. It's like
It's kind of Australia.
It's kind of Australia, but it's not Australia, and it's kind of her imagination.
The Leopard Queen.
The Leopard Queen, who is also his social worker.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's also just, it's, you know, it's kind of like Philip K. Dick. When you read too much of it, your brain gets like.
But also, I really like this part where he's like, for her, I can be a hero. She inspires me. For her, I can be a hero.
That's what ladies are supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here she is in real life.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, so she's a freelance social worker, whatever that is supposed to mean.
I think it's kind of interesting because this is, up until this point, it's very much of like a very unique comic book.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very almost not image like at all.
Oh, no,
and then you get
no.
here and you see this, and I was like, this is definitely a 90s image type thing.
But she's not the same kind of cheesecake as Evangeline or whatever. You know? It's definitely like Sam Kieth is doing his thing, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like there's so much drawing.
Yeah.
And like,
there's no wasted movement.
oh no, yeah, like he is like put in so much story in it. Fun fact, if you read the whole series, the building that she is living in here was designed by her father, who was an architect.
That's
It's
cool.
a skyscraper.
But I also like when she's talking to like this dude. She's like, what was the first thing to do if you were in an airport? He's like, I've never been in one.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I've never seen a social worker dressed like this.
Yeah. And she's like, keep in mind that I have a job while you have a blanket with vomit on it.
Yeah, oof.
It hurts. The truth hurts.
Yeah, I guess.
So the police are calling her to come and help get Maxx off their hands. So more ads.
Death Blow and Cybernary.
Yeah.
That's a great issue. I got that issue at Ollie's.
Oh,
It
weird.
was in one of those packets that
5
had
packs,
like yeah. And I just want to say, the Death Blow is really cool. I really dug it. But Cybernary is really awesome. Nick Manabot is awesome. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
And I don't
Did
know.
not live that long.
No, I think he died at like 22, 23.
And this, I know this is the issue that you don't like, I think. Right? Strike file number 2, that's the one where it's a flip, and one of the sides is Chapel using the girl's corpse to
No, I
block
thought that was
bullets.
an issue of Chapel. Not.
No, I think that's Youngblood Strike File, and it's like one side is a Chapel story, and then you flip it
okay.
over, and it's the
Yeah, I don't.
this dude,
Yeah,
whose name I
that's-
can't remember.
that's
offhand.
horrible.
I mean,
Kind of looks like Super Patriot.
yeah, I don't think it is, though. I think it's something else. So she's going to bail him out of jail, and he
I wonder why she got changed. You know what I mean? Like I wonder what inspired her to change.
well, maybe it was cold outside.
Yeah, I mean she was wearing a chaps.
Yeah. She says, so here he says he almost bit off the cop's finger, and he says, I didn't do it. And she says, well, he got 12 stitches, and he goes, it was the mask.
Yeah, but I think she's like. Do we know her name? Did they say?
I mean, her name's Julie, but
Yeah.
I don't know if they have presented it.
But
here.
I think she's. I'd be very interested to read more of the Maxx, because I kind of want to see more of her character, because she's like a very rough, gritty, like. Well, I don't know if I'd say gritty, but she's not a particularly nice person. She's very like.
No, she's
real,
not.
Like,
Yeah.
Here she kind of said like to talk about like, if you don't act stupid, you don't get raped. The cop says, blame the victim, why don't you? It's a hard world. There's always enough blame to go around. Like that's a very rough statement. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'd be very interested to see where her character goes and more about her, just how she got this way. If it's like shown, you know.
Yeah, it's it's shown how she became the human being that she is. I mean, she's fundamentally flawed. She's trying to present herself as tougher than she actually is, basically. Here we go. Oh, so did she change again? Yep, look.
Whoa, she
new
did,
shirt,
yeah.
New shirt, man.
That's like 3 outfit changes in a span of a couple hours.
Yeah. And we got to see them all.
Yeah, all beautiful.
Yeah. And so here he is in the same position he was in the cop car.
Yeah.
And
it's really interesting. He's how Sam Kieth positions him as like this hulking guy, but at the same time incredibly helpless and hopeless.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I
And-
mean? Like this really cool juxtaposition.
all of these shots like this, to me, do they remind you of Born Again?
Ooh.
You know, that opening scene in each
yes.
issue of Born Again where
Yeah.
it's Matt Murdock sleeping.
Now that I didn't pick up on it until right now.
I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't really either, but, you know. All right, and so then we're jumping out of the Maxx and Julie part of the story to two teenagers thinking about getting it on in the laundromat.
Well, unrequited love. A bit.
Yeah, a bit. I mean, they are hanging out at the laundromat together.
Was that something you did in the 90s? Hang out in laundromats?
Yeah, I guess, but not. But only when I was doing my laundry.
Yeah.
And it's funny because there were like 2 laundromats when I lived in Greensboro that were like across the street from each other. There was one that was quote unquote cool, and they had like beers on tap and stuff. But I would use the one across the street because it was like $2 cheaper to do your laundry, which is basically $2 versus $4. So
That is
like
kind of cool,
twice
though.
as expensive.
That is kind of like an interesting idea, though.
Yeah, I think it was called like Suds and Duds or something like that.
That's pretty cool.
But like, I love that. Like, okay, her mom's telling this lady that she needs to have this ridiculous ass knife.
Yeah.
And she's just sitting there playing with it, and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna like."
Try to.
This guy's got
cop
balls.
a feel.
Yeah, this guy's got balls to flirt in this way with a girl with a
knife,
9-inch knife or whatever.
But I will say, you mentioned up when people said that they kind of have criticisms or critiques about like the anatomy of women, and I can kind of see that here. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I think it.
And his face is.
There's something where most comic book people try to draw their humans to look, Greek god style attractive, and he doesn't do that. In a way, they're grotesque, but in a way, they're also more
human
and real.
It's like British TV.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Julie's very attractive.
Yeah. I mean, this girl. I mean, they're all. I mean,
they look very real. Like, I feel like you could go somewhere and you could see these 2 people.
And after the Maxx, I mean, like, he's all this style. Like, he doesn't go back, as far as I know, to ever drawing like he did with Sandman, where it's like that was not his style.
Yeah.
So we see in her glasses, it looks like the reflection of the dude that took out the girl that was dropped off in the taxi cab.
But I do like that. Tommy, what a doof, but he's a sweet doof.
Yeah, she's thinking about it, so maybe he was doing the moves right. But it is brutal, and I love. Oh my gosh, this cape is the most image thing in the whole book.
Okay, real quick, who has a cooler cape, this guy or Spawn?
Oh, this guy for sure.
Really?
Look at this thing.
Well, Spawn's cape is like alive though.
You think this thing isn't alive? Look, there's no way he walked in and his cape is going in front of him and over all of these laundry machines and everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Is like, and then he has the ises coming out of it.
I think this is a terrifying panel. Like, she's like kind of you can tell she's like kind of shaking. She's like has the knife behind her, but she's kind of like, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I'm
and you think for a minute like, oh, she has the knife.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't know she has the knife. Maybe she's gonna make it. the knife doesn't even make it.
Yeah.
And so this guy's coming back, and he's like, all right, I'm going to tell her if she's going to send me to buy Cokes for her, that means we're going steady, and that means touching privileges. And instead he gets there, the knife's broken in half, and she says, I hurt, oh God, the things he did to me. And,
Brutal.
yeah. And, oh my gosh. What's Paglia? I should know this. Is that...
I was thinking you would know, because I don't know.
I should know, but I can't place it right now. So she's still wearing that same shirt, and this is the jacket and hat that she gave him, so he has a disguise.
Because that's really gonna, like, help.
And I like this. He just goes, I am the Maxx. Answer your phone.
Yeah.
Like, you know. And then...
he sees the same dudes that are in the Outback.
Yeah. He says that is not a human. That's one of the things from the Outback. Why are they here? And so he's chasing it, and you know, it's just like, I mean, to me, it's really a like, what the hell is happening? I want to understand what's happening. It's really compelling because we're basically at the end of the issue.
Oh, I just want to say real quick, I started reading comics at a time when you didn't see other comic books advertised, like other company comic books advertised.
Yeah.
And no matter how many times I see it in old issues, it's always kind of surprising when you see like an advertisement to buy X-Men from somebody in an image book. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of, you don't see that.
Let's see if we see any prices here that seem interesting. Let's see. Death Blow #1. Ooh. It's supposed to be $2.50, but they're selling it for $1.95 right here.
I think I got that. I think I got it for less than that.
Yeah, right. I don't even know this. Punisher versus Daredevil by Frank Miller. Do you know that? As a trade paperback for $5.95.
I don't think so. I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Yeah, it's probably good.
I want it. Anything by, if it's like this time for Frank Miller and Daredevil, count me in.
Yeah. All these prices are super cheap. I mean, like,
oh, how could we miss it? Shaman's Tears.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere.
The legendary series,
Yeah.
quote unquote.
Regular $2.50, now only $1.95. So there's like, it's interesting because they aren't showing. Normally, you know, they'd be advertising stuff that's expensive. Like, I'm not seeing.
No.
Anything, everything is cheap as hell. You know,
Cheaper than they are now.
yeah, let's see if there's a Marvel. No, all the Marvel books are 99 cents.
Yeah.
Here's I think this is the advertisement up for the first appearance. Oh wait, no, that's New Warriors. Is that New Warriors or New Mutants? Okay, never mind. That's New Warriors. I was misreading it.
Midnight Suns.
Yeah, but I mean, everything is cheap. Everything they're selling, everything is like below cover price.
Yeah.
So that's pretty crazy. You know, I mean, like, I guess, like, you know, they're trying to get the. See, I don't even know what this is. There are 3 versions of Darker Image.
X-Men Days of Future Past, $4.95.
That's a trade paperback, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I just got in the shop. I got the trade of when Robin gets killed.
Yeah.
And the cover price on the trade was $4.95, which I was like, man, that seems so cheap.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but
I think you showed me in like the paper was like newsprint.
yeah, it was cheaper paper than they use now too. Comics, see these comic supplies, I feel like they're kind of expensive for.
That's where
for
they
them.
get you.
Yeah, that's how they get you. But anyway, yeah, like See, I was sure that like this was gonna be the era when Turok #1 was of value, but it's already
No, I only knew
sunk.
Turok as a video game series
That's
for the
the
longest time.
I've had people come and ask me if I can get Turok for them because they have fondness for
Yeah.
the video game that they had only same thing, they only recently realized that it was
Is it tough to find?
is that a joke?
I know nothing
Turok
about the Turok comic
#1
books.
Turok #1 is as hard to find as Shaman's Tears #1 or Shadowhawk
okay.
#1. It's
I feel like
everywhere.
I feel like I've seen probably 5 issues of Shadowhawk #1
Yeah, I
in
know.
the boxes in your shop.
I know. Well, they have the Shadowhawk 2.
Shadowhawk 1, Shadowhawk 2 1,
Yeah.
Shadowhawk 3 1,
So
because he
there you
wanted to
go.
get as many #1s as he could to make
Yeah,
a lot of money.
he was early on knowing that.
I respect his hustle.
Also, this comic is basically worth about what a new comic is. It's worth like $5. Sometimes you'll find them for less. Sometimes, but
$5-7 I see him.
Yeah, I think that's a normal price. Sometimes you see them for only $1. But what they did was, this was one of the first comics that had an incentive cover, and what it was like any shop that ordered 500 copies, they're like, we're gonna give you a special glow in the dark cover. And so what happened because of that? A lot of comic shops were like, oh shit, we need some of those glow in the dark covers. So they would order like 2,500 so that they could get 5 glow in the dark covers. And so that's part of why Maxx #1 is way less valuable than like Maxx 31.
Yeah.
Because
There's so many.
there's so many of them. But it is a badass book.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And like, this.
And we're not even done yet.
Yeah, and like I think it was on Cartoonist Kayfabe, they talk about what if there was one of the best-selling books of all time and it was like something good that somebody cared about. And I think probably this is the best-selling #1 that somebody cared about. Like, like Jim Lee, I don't think
You don't think he cared about
I don't think
Wildcats?
No, well, I was talking about X-Men #1. I mean, I do think Liefeld cared about X-Force #1 when he was doing
I think
X-Force
so.
#1. But this is doing. This is. I can't. That millions of people read this. That millions of people watched the TV show. The TV show was on MTV. Like, people that you would not think would watch this were watching it.
Yeah.
It was like, it was a phenomena, which I just like, it's so confusing that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so here we are, and this is it. Our villain meets our hero here, and the villain knows who the hero is, and the hero has no idea who the villain is.
Yeah. And he even kind of says, like, too bad, I normally hate killing amnesiacs.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he remembers. Says, oh
Yeah.
God, I remember.
Let's see. It was all coming back to me. I
Yeah.
could only feel the hot sun on my back skin and the grasses under my toes.
And it ends. Incredible dialogue. Damn. Still talking out loud. I mean, look at this. What an incredible way to end it.
Yeah.
I also think it's interesting because going through it, I honestly didn't realize this was an outfit. I thought that was. I thought
that was his skin?
Yeah, I
That
thought
he was purple?
I thought he was like this monster kind of looking guy. Maybe that was just me, but
No, they he doesn't really reveal his face the whole series.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is just, he is so stylized, and
Yeah.
it's like you know, I think he's older than most of the Image guys.
Probably.
Not than what's his name? Valentino. Valentino's
Well, I think.
an older man.
Well,
but-
I don't know. I think I looked him up. I think it said he was like 62 or something. Now, so he would have been like 30, like early 30s when he was doing the Maxx. Maybe.
Oh, you're talking about Sam Keith.
Yeah.
No, but Valentino
Oh yeah.
is like probably 82 now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, you know, all the other Image guys, like I think he was a few years older than them, and I think if he hadn't done the Maxx, like if that opportunity hadn't revealed itself, he probably would have ended up quitting comics.
Yeah.
You know, like I think he was tired of doing
What he
other
didn't want to do.
Yeah. And I mean, he had made the transformation that he was like, okay, I'm not drawing in Marvel or DC house style. I'm drawing crazy shit.
Yeah.
And Marvel, you can take it or leave it. And Marvel's like, we'll take it because it's selling.
Yeah.
So that's great. But like, yeah, like I think he was like, I don't know how much longer they would have let him do that shit jungle Wolverine stories.
Yeah.
You know,
Put him on the Hulk.
I think he drew a couple issues of Hulk.
Yeah.
I think it was like Hulk versus Mr. Hyde or something, which is great because it's like basically the same guy you're drawing.
Yeah.
2 times. And then he's already asking, like, okay, let's start a letters page. And it's like, the Maxx has not come out yet, but I hear it's going to be really good. You know? And then it's like, and then this kid's drawing of the Maxx, which is like, it's pretty cool. Good
Yeah.
job, Jeff Weiner. I don't know what became of you.
Oh, it even says I've been a fan since Hulk.
Yeah, yeah, which has only been like 6 months or whatever. But I mean, it was moving so fast.
Yeah. Look at that cover.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and eventually, like, one of Sam Keith's claims to fame is that he slows down. Like, there was a Batman Maxx crossover
Oh, I think
a few years ago, and yeah, it was like issue 1 came out 1 month, issue 2 came out 1 month, and then like 2 years later they reprinted issues 1 and 2 together, so that and then they had issues 3, 4, and 5 came out because it was just like there was like a 2-year delay in him drawing them. And so the Maxx, when the Maxx is coming out pretty regularly, it was great, and then like towards the end it would just be like, surprise, a new issue of Maxx came out. I bet you didn't know.
It's kind of like a certain sci-fi comic book
Saga.
that we know. Yeah, Saga. I love Saga.
Yeah, but you have joined the same thing that most people have joined on it, which is wait for the trade.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I mean, it's hard to do something consistent for a long period of time, but yeah, the Maxx, check it out, right? I mean,
Oh, it's awesome.
like
Yeah.
it's and you can find the early issues pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Like
I was just at a shop today and it had a box, and it had probably the first 7 issues.
yeah,
Just
$2 a piece or something. Yeah, that's about the rate, which is the cover price.
yeah, I think it's a very, like, one of the more thought out early Image books, where it's like I feel like there's a lot of intent everywhere with like the story and all that. Like he kind of has a feel for where he's gonna go and what he wants to convey. And he has like a lot of big ideas that he wants to talk about, and a lot of that early Image stuff like doesn't always have that.
They were like the drawing comes first.
I mean, Spawn,
story comes later.
Spawn ends up getting a big like overarching thing, but it takes a while for that to get rolling. But you were like, it was all about the art and like how cool these things look and how creative you can be. But this is like,
it's both.
It's a fascinating story that when I finished it, I wasn't just like, that was some cool artwork. Like when I read an issue of Spawn, a lot of times I'll be like, that was a good issue because like Spawn looks cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Spawn's cool. This, I'm just like, who is this bad guy? Who is Julie? What's up with, what's her deal? Like what's the Maxx? Like what's his issue? Like there's so many things.
Does he even have powers or does he just dress up?
Yeah.
I don't know.
How did this homeless person get so jacked?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like,
you want me to spoil it?
No.
Okay.
But I'm just kind of like, there's so many pieces of the puzzle that I want to see put in place that you don't always get with like those earlier books.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of Shadowhawk. Like, you got to figure out who his identity is.
Well, I feel like with this, like, this could have been Vertigo for sure. Which I was not an Image person. I was a Vertigo person, and like this is to me, the first time that Image crosses over into getting that, which in the current era, Image has a lot of the things that quote unquote feel like Vertigo, you know, like the Chew series definitely feels like Vertigo. Ice Cream Man,
I was
100% feels like Vertigo.
Haha.
I mean, all that Maxwell Prince stuff feels like Vertigo. You know, just like all of the Image stuff that I think is interesting. To me, feels like it would have been on Vertigo in the 90s. And I don't know. I think everybody's really lucky that this came to fruition, because I feel like it just like could have so easily gone that he's like, I'm making a lot of money doing these 8-page Wolverine stories.
Yeah.
They're only 8 pages. It doesn't take a lot of, effort. And to say like, okay, I'm going to stop doing this guaranteed paycheck and take a risk at something that's really, really hard.
And weird. This is not a book that I think if you would present to like a business, like I don't think you're seeing dollar signs in your eyes. It is a weird idea.
There's no like, okay, like Spawn is. He's like, the pitch is, I've got this guy in this really cool cape with chains, and he's like basically Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Ghost Rider's selling good.
Yeah, I can see this.
And then
here I have a homeless man. I have a schizophrenic homeless man in a costume. In a purple costume.
Yeah. Okay, is there anything else where there's like a schizophrenic homeless man in like a yellow costume that sells well?
Yeah.
No, there is not.
Well, what about Moon Knight? Isn't that his thing in some of it?
Yeah, in the good parts.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, he's not... Like, Moon Knight is basically Batman, but a little more crazy.
Yeah.
Like, there is nothing... Like, I mean, just because of his bulk, you would compare him to the Hulk or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's almost closer to being Solomon Grundy than any other character I can think of.
Yeah.
Which, Solomon Grundy comic by Sam Kieth, now there's something that would be nice to see one day. But, and I don't... It's interesting to me. I don't know if there's reasoning why, but it seems like Sam Kieth does not go back to Marvel. He does a lot of work with DC. He does a lot of Batman stuff. And some, like, he had that weird werewolf book that I guess part of the caveat of him doing it was that it had to have Batman appear in one issue. It's like it's a 4-issue limited series with Batman appearing in issue 3. I think that's called like Snitch or Snatch or something.
That sounds cool.
It's good. It's weird. I mean, like, so Sam Kieth has a lot of his material involves like kids with childhood trauma.
Yeah.
Like that's always like.
I feel like we get some of that in here.
Yeah, like we're gonna like everybody's kind of more well-rounded as a human being, but they all have issues.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to reveal to you the thing that made this person this person.
Yeah.
And he even tries to do that when he does his Batman stories, but I don't think anything that he's revealed about Batman is stuck.
Want to know who has a great version of Batman? Rick Veitch. That's a story for another time. Yeah. So I guess just to talk about some of my thoughts is just, it's an awesome book. Definitely worth reading. It does a lot of stuff that a lot of those image books didn't talk about. And I feel like it deals with a lot of real world issues. It talks about, I brought up earlier, issues with like homelessness. Like, what do you do with those people in society who can't particularly help themselves? And it deals with like violence against women and stuff like that. And the issues, it's very interesting to see an image book tackle stuff like that.
And it's alcoholism.
And alcoholism, mental health, and I said violence against women.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like, I want to see more where this goes. I want to see the exploration that Sam Kieth wants to do with those topics,
Yeah.
So for me, it's a incredible book. If you haven't read it and you see it, check it out.
Yeah.
It's only probably going to be like $7
Maxx.
So why not?
Yeah. And I don't know. I want to get the action figures. I've always wanted to get the action figure of it, but I've never bothered. I just hide him around the store.
Yeah.
But yeah. If you haven't checked out Sam Kieth, this really is probably to me the best entry point for Sam Kieth.
Oh, yeah.
This is, I like a lot of his stuff, but there's just, and it feels weird sometimes where it's like, it's like Frank Miller, it's like clearly like that early Daredevil stuff is special.
Yeah.
But then it's like he was able to come back with Born Again and recreate himself, and then he's able to come back with Dark Knight Returns, reinvent himself. Dark Knight Year One reinvents himself.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so it's Sam Kieth's not been as able to me to recreate himself so many times as that, but who has? Like,
Yeah.
there's no one else that I can be like, okay, here's like 5 definitive pieces of his work, and they aren't derivative of each other.
Yeah.
But I would say the thing about the Maxx is it's not derivative of anything as far as I can tell. Like, there's no, like, it's like the things that it's referencing is he's like I feel like his pitch is like, I want to do something that's like a cross between, that old Jimmy Stewart movie Harvey, where the guy has an imaginary rabbit as his best friend?
Yeah.
A cross between that and the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
And people are like, what?
Yeah.
That's not a pitch.
Yeah.
So, read it.
Yeah.
Read it. And it is interesting that, like, the later issues are impossible to find.
Yeah.
Like, because all the time I push this book on people and they love it because it's awesome. And then it's like, I'm like, yeah, I can probably get you like the first 10 issues pretty easily. But then they're like, I want the whole thing. I'm like, if you want the whole thing, you're probably looking at like $500 or something, you know? But they're like, but the first issue's only worth like $5.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know.
Well, that's what they say about Spawn, where it's like the first like X amount of issues are like really cheap and easy, but once you hit like I forget what number it is.
It's like 175.
Yeah, but it's like once you hit a certain number, the production rate just plummets, and it becomes like almost impossible and expensive to find them.
Yeah. Issues like 175 to 250 or so. It doesn't even matter if you have the money.
Yeah.
They're really difficult to find. I mean, you know, like, if you were willing to pay $100, you could probably find somebody that would sell it to you for $100 an issue.
Yeah.
But like,
it's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. And you know, you never see trades of Spawn.
You see the compendiums.
But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like,
well, there's too much of it, you know?
I guess.
But I have like the first compendium, which they do like the 50 issues in one book.
Yeah.
And they're pretty cool.
Yeah, but you'll like only see like volume 1 of that. It seems like it doesn't seem like you see like volume the volume 5s. That's issue like 150 through 200. You don't see that sitting around.
Well, when you go to like I know Ultimate Comics, they have all.
Oh, they have the whole.
They have
line.
the whole. Yeah.
Maybe I should.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
No, you know they sit there. But yeah, buy the Maxx.
Yep.
Read it. Don't just buy it. Read it.
Yeah. Think about it.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah. This is. And like I say, you feel yourself getting drawn into his universe, which is.
Yeah.
I don't even understand it. You know, like. And anytime he has something new come out, I always there's no situation like you know, like if you told me Sam Keith's drawing the new X-Men, whatever,
yeah,
the X-Men Incorporated or whatever that thing was, I'm like, okay, I guess I'll get it then since he's doing it.
Yeah.
But like there's like, or if they said there's a new Scarlet Witch series and it's drawn by Sam Keith.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel Girl. I'd read Squirrel Girl anyway, but I'm trying to think of something ridiculous enough that I wouldn't check it out. But everything I can think of that would be ridiculous with him doing it, I'd be like, oh.
Yeah.
Then I'd check it out. It's like I'm hard pressed to think of something that somebody would be like, he's doing it, and then I'd be like, I'm still not checking it out.
Yeah.
It's like, like Green Lantern drawn by the Maxx. But drawn by Sam Keith. It's like, I don't even understand how that would work.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Swamp Thing.
That
would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, all those veins.
Yeah.
All right, we're signing off. See you guys soon.